Welcome to Corner to Corner, Caden vs. Complex. I am Caden.
What's good? It's your boy Complex. You are now tuned in to the best boxing podcast on the internet. Don't believe me? Just watch.
I like it. Now we're going to talk about the Benns finally getting on the board against the Eubanks. Yes, there has been a family rivalry for over 35 years, but it's gone one way. The Eubanks have dominated. Well, not anymore. This is what Conor Benn had to say about his victory over Chris Eubank, and he let his dad, Nigel Benn, know he had one up on him.
Just tell this stadium and tell the world what on earth is going through your mind right now and how this feels. How does it feel? I got one on you, Nige. I got one on you, mate. Hold that. Just tell.
Nigel Benn said, I'll take that. All
That's
right.
awesome.
Chris Eubank didn't really say much on his plans. Here's what he said immediately following the fight.
I tried hard, but it wasn't there. And Conor was strong, and he was fast, and he was tough. And congratulations to him.
Here's what Conor Benn said. This video appears courtesy of Fight Hub TV. Subscribe to Fight Hub TV.
Like I'm gonna go home and cry. But I'm gonna go home and cry, yeah, because it's just, oh man, it's been hard. Facing my first loss, coming back from adversity. It's things you got to do. As a man, you go through things in life and you don't know why, but you just have to keep fighting. Staying in shape, staying in the gym, turning up when you really don't want to turn up, facing your own demons every single day. You know, that's the hardest fight, really. You have to live in your head every single day. You know, getting in the ring for 36 minutes is no problem. I wake up in the morning and go, whoa, what? People think I can't box? Or people think I can't act boxing for 12 rounds? Watch me. And that was my fuel. Everyone has their chimp on their shoulder that gets them going and gets them out of bed. That was mine for the camp. I did say early on in the week there was going to be a systematic beatdown. And that's what I done.
I like the fact that Conor Benn, who's usually putting on the hard exterior, opened up about
showing his vulnerabilities. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. Now, make sure.
I was about to say, it seems like he's on the internet calling somebody out or trying to be hard or talking. It's like, I was happy for him to get the win, but also it's like, it's cool to see that to show he can be vulnerable and you know, show his other side too.
Conor says it's the end of the Eubank Benn saga. What's your opinion on that?
It's 1-1. I've got to go away and deal with some of the things I've been dealing with over the last couple of months. And who knows, maybe we'll see something new with me and him, maybe we won't. But for right now, it's all about this man. It's his night. Congratulations.
When Conor Benn was going back to his dressing room, he said he wants to fight Mario Barrios next.
Redemption, talk to me. How are you feeling?
I feel great, yeah. Just I want to get back in the gym and get back in the ring.
No, you said no trilogy, so who's next?
Barrios for the WBC World title.
And how are you celebrating tonight?
5 guys.
Love it, thank you.
So he reported his plan. Complex, what was your reaction to the fight? And do you think there should be a trilogy, or should Ben fulfill his plan and go to 147 and try to fight Barrios?
Yeah, excellent fight. Excellent. So, you know, we're in the U.S. That was UK. I was kind of running errands, so I didn't get to start watching the fight till about halfway through. I did see some clips and stuff like that before that, but I watched it from basically around 6 on. Amazing crowd, amazing event in the UK. That's why, we got to make it to a boxing event in the UK, because for them to pack a stadium for Conor Benn and Eubank Jr. is crazy, right? To get a stadium in America filled, you would need the biggest fight ever, right? But for them, 2 guys with, a feud, no belts, no nothing, can pack out a stadium. But it was also a spectacle. It was a great show. I saw the clip of 50 Cent walking out Eubank. That was cold. I was like, dang, he had to win. I picked Ben before the fight, but I was like, dang, you can't walk out with 50 like this. You got to win. You know what I mean? Like, this is too, it was so dope to have 50 Cent walk you out singing Many Men. Like, oh my God, that shit gives me chills.
Hey, someone posted a meme of 50 looking perplexed. It was like, dang, homie, in April, you was the man, homie.
Exactly. And that is the story of the fight. What a difference a few months makes. Because so the way I looked at the fight was like, all right, Eubank got the first one, but I had a feeling that Conor was going to get the second one. I thought he was going to readjust and come back. The other thing is the weight cut, which I think a lot of people on after the fight have noticed. I think the weight cut was too much for Eubank Jr. I think coming down, last time he didn't make weight, so gave him a little bit of extra. A lot of fighters say that last pound, even half a pound, struggling to get down can make all the difference in sapping your energy. Then the rehydration clause, the next day, not weighing a certain amount, all that plays into a factor. You're going to have no gas, no legs, no pop in your punches. It's just too much. And, Conor Benn didn't have to worry about any of that. He came in fully weight, coming up in weight, so much more powerful. So, but it was a cool fight. I think definitely the commentators sounded like they were giving Conor every round. I thought Eubank was doing some work.
Yeah,
I thought it was a little bit, but it was cool.
It was even worse for Buachi Parker, but yeah, they were
right.
So
it just seemed like that, but it was whatever. At the end of the day, Conor clearly was winning, and then dropping him in the 12 twice. Tough loss for Eubank. Look, there has to be a trilogy. That was the other reason why I chose Conor at the beginning. And there has to be a trilogy. There's too much money. Look at what they did with having 2 fights with 2 guys, no belts, no nothing, just family feud, just selling the fight. That's promotion. Shout out to Eddie and Matchroom and everybody involved on. That's how you promote a fight. No world, you don't need a world championship to sell it or convince these people that these are the 2 best in the world. These are just 2 guys. Their dads had a feud. Now they're carrying on the feud. That's good business. So shout out to them. There has to be a trilogy. There's too much money to not have a trilogy. Neither of these guys might ever amount to much in terms of world-class boxing. Can either of them maybe win a belt at some point? Sure, right? Could Conor win a belt at 147? He has maybe a few more months before 147 gets flooded by all these guys coming up from 140 and all this other stuff. So maybe not. Does Eubank Jr. have a shot at super middleweight belt? Probably not, right? But maybe the IBO, or actually no, I think the IBO is held by Canelo too. I don't think he has a shot, but these 2 can still come together and do one more fight, and everybody's going to get paid. Their dads are getting paid. They're getting paid. Good for them. So there's absolutely going to be a trilogy, but I do think they should take a step away. You guys did good business this year. Let it, go back to your normal fights and do whatever, because that'll build up the story later down the line, right? And maybe they can meet at a weight where, Eubank doesn't have to drop down so much. Hopefully, if by that time Conor, will either stay, if he moves up from 147 to at least 154 or 160, then that makes it easier. They can meet at 168 or something like that. Conor going after the WBC, I think that's a good fight for him. If he can get it, I think, the trouble is, I think there's a lot of people aiming at Mario Barrios right now. I feel like, Pacquiao and him had a fight. I heard that even, I don't know, Floyd was saying he wanted to fight him or something, or I don't know. I feel like I've heard other people taking aim at Mario Barrios. I feel like people see him as almost the weak link of 147. You know what I'm saying? That could be easy.
But you got heavyweights who are looking to strip down 120 pounds to get a shot at Mario.
Mario Barrios he's got to, be waking up, sleep with something under his pillow because they're coming for that belt. So, at the end of the day, I think it was a great fight for both guys. I think they need to take a step away, go do other things, because you don't want to go back to the well too many times. Let it build up again. But there's absolutely going to be a third fight, and that'll be, for all the marbles now. That'll be, you know what I'm saying? Let's see who can finally say they have it over the other. I mean, the Eubanks technically are way up on the scoreboard, but another win by Conor Benn. Maybe there'll be a fourth fight. This is the kind of fight that you can make again and again, and you're gonna get paid from it. You know what I mean? Because the story never ends. So I thought it was a good fight, and I think both guys got some good opportunities afterwards. I was happy to see it.
Yeah, so I agree with most of what you said. Maybe all of it, but I can never fully agree with Complex. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it has to be. But I will say, this whole thing was built on drama. the drama of the dads, the sons, the first fight living up to the hype. This second fight was decent, although early on you can tell Chris Eubank Jr. wasn't the same. And I think Chris Eubank Jr., he flew too close to the sun. He got away with it the first fight. He thought he could get away with it again, but his body didn't react. And the difference is you weigh in and then you get a chance to rehydrate and then you fight the next day. And he felt good the first fight. He did it. He stripped himself down. He made weight. He adhered to the rehydration clause, and then he felt good enough to win the first fight. So he thought it was going to be
the first fight. He didn't make weight. I think he made the rehydration clause weight, but he didn't make the weight because remember he had to pay Conor Benn like $500,000.
I thought he made weight both times.
No, didn't he have to? He had to pay Conor Benn like $500,000.
Well, even if that's the case, then that even it helps the point even more. He didn't make weight the first time. He just paid a penalty. This time he decides to make weight, and then he's flat. So to me, that helps the point or the argument that he was weight drained. Because when he made weight and he complied with the rehydration clause, he didn't look good. He looked flat. So he was flat early on. And this is not to take anything away from Conor Benn, because Conor Benn did what he was supposed to do. He beat the man in front of him. But everyone could see, even the announcers could see, that Eubank Jr. was flat. He wasn't as fast. He wasn't as sharp. His legs looked unsteady. So there's that. But to me, that plays into the drama. The drama now is going to be, can Chris Eubank Jr. beat Conor Benn if there wasn't a rehydration clause, if he was able to be 100% on the night of the fight? Now, this goes into what Chris Eubank Sr. was yelling from the beginning. When guys like Simon Jordan make me laugh, I know Chris Eubank Sr., he's poetic. The way he delivers stuff is unorthodox. But that doesn't mean that there's no value in what he's saying. There's tremendous value in what he's saying. What he's saying is Conor Benn's going to move up 2 weight classes from 147 to face his son. Make his son strip down in weight to meet him at 160, to the point where you have to put in a rehydration clause, which makes it dangerous for his son. But there's also tremendous jeopardy for Conor Benn going up fighting a bigger guy, which he could take a lot of damage in the fight. Now, he and Nigel, 2 guys who beat each other up and caused each other damage, lifelong damage that he's living with, like he stated, the damage doesn't show up from a fight until 3 or 4 years later. They're watching their sons beat each other's heads in. And Simon Jordan's like, well, they knew the jeopardy. Blah, 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 blah. And he's trying to explain, when you're a fighter, your mentality is, I don't care. I can beat anyone, and someone has to protect you from yourself. Look at Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury, right? When Mark Brillin threw in the towel. Was Mark Brillin wrong? Probably not. But if you're Deontay, all you're thinking is, all I need is one. And you saw in the trilogy with Tyson Fury, he took a beating. He earned the respect of the people, but he's never really been the same since. So would it have been better to stop it sooner? That's up for debate. But physically, for the fighter, it would have been. And this is what Eubank Sr. was trying to tell everyone about stripping the weight and doing this. Like, yeah, for the night, we get to see a big fight. But where is Chris Eubank right now? And how is he feeling? So again, he flew too close to the sun. He thought, okay, he got close to the sun. He survived. He said, all right, let me go for it one more time. And this time, it didn't happen. I think most of it had to do with him being weight drained, but I also think Conor Benn was better. Conor Benn picked his spots better. He fought using his mind instead of rage and aggression. I thought he looked better. He looked powerful. He was strong. Go ahead.
Who do you think's a better boxer? Let's just take weight out of it. Who do you think is just the better boxer between the two of them?
I think prior to last night, I would have said, prior to last night, I would have said Eubank. But last night, Conor Benn showed that he learned a lot. And he actually used his jab to set up big punches. Because he used to just go in and be reckless aggression.
Right.
Trying to be
like a wrecking ball, just like a bull in a china shop. Yeah. I think he just used to come in like a wrecking ball, just like.
Yeah. He set up punches this time. He used his jab more. He went to the body, beautiful punches to the body. Which brings me to the last point that I want to bring up. So salute to Conor Benn, but I really don't like how biased the commentary was. And this was what happened with Joshua Buatsi and Zach Parker. And then in the end, I hear people saying it's a robbery, it's this, it's that. I just want to say, I scored a fight. I score fights live, and I score fights myself. I understand the criteria of boxing. I was trained the criteria of boxing coming up as an amateur, and I learned how to score pro fights. And I also fought as an amateur, so I understand how you score fights. Now, currently in my profession, I'm a lawyer, so I'm trained to understand the rules, the parameters in which you are allowed to operate, how you're supposed to interpret legal precedent, and then present it. Same with boxing. So whenever I watch a fight, I score the fight within the rules. I'm not swayed by what commentators say. I'm not swayed by the crowd. I just go by the criteria that I was taught. So I'm watching the fight. And this is contemporaneous notes. As I stated to everyone before, those of you who watch the fight and you don't even score it, go kick rocks when you want to talk about someone's score, right? I actually watched the fight and score it live, and I tweet it live. So I have contemporaneous notes, which is actual evidence. And I'm explaining to you why I scored the fight the way I scored it. So the first round, I say, good start from Benn, but he's using a lot of energy early. Will he fade late? Then I tweet, Eubank lands a beautiful counter left hook, and the commentators say, good work by Benn. 2-1 Eubank. That's how I had it at the end of 3, right? As you can see, a lot of people agreed with that. Then I said the fourth is a swing round, in my opinion. I meant to say neither fighter did much. The commentators completely ignored Eubank's work. So in the middle of this, you're trying to tweet real quick and then get into watching the next round. I said fifth was Benn. He was more active and landed the clear punches. Eubank landed 2 nice counters, but they were not enough to steal the round. Then you go to the end of 6. I had a 3-3 even. I stated Eubank won the 6th with a clean right hand and right uppercut that he landed early in the round. The commentators are glazing Benn. So go to the next tweet. Conor Benn landed the big right hand at the end of the round. Eubank answered with a big left hook, and he landed more punches throughout the round. So you keep going up here. Eubank landed 2 big rights at the end of the round, but Benn was in control for most of the 8th. They seemed like desperation shots. So at the end of 9, I had it 5-4 Benn. I think it's a close fight, just like I thought Buatsi versus Parker was a close fight. We have to wait and see how it's being scored officially. Now, I had to write that because at this point, Carl Frampton shows his scorecard, and Carl Frampton has every single round going to.
I saw that. I was like, every round?
Every single round, the same way he had every single round going to Zach Parker. And I feel like it's a gross misrepresentation of how you're supposed to score fights. So then I go continue. Great round, Benn. He's still strong and explosive. Eubank is fading and wavering. If Eubank doesn't land something big, he might be in trouble. So I have it 7-4 Benn at this point. I have been dominating the fight, as you see. But I have it realistic. Like, I'm not just glazing Benn. I'm actually scoring Eubank Jr.'s work too. Conor should attempt to close the show and make a statement. Eubank looks gassed, and making it to the final bell is all he has left. And then what ended up happening? Benn does that, and he drops Chris Eubank Jr. twice. So then my final tweet on the fight, 116-110. There should be a trilogy with no rehydration clause. Eubank Sr. tried to warn Jr. about the dangers of going to the well twice. No shade to Benn. He handled business tonight. The Benns finally got one. Respect to them. Now, let me go into my comment section. This is prior to the decision being announced, right? This one guy says to me, 116-110, laughing emojis. Don't comment on boxing again. However, he didn't expect one of the official judges to have it scored the same exact way as me. So I respond to him. Once the scores are read, one of the official judges scored it the same way. And no response from the guy.
Right.
Here's what I need you to understand. I'm not glazing nobody. I watch the fight and I score what I see. I don't care what Carl Frampton thinks because maybe he was throwing him back a little too much. I don't care what Tony Bellew thinks. I don't have any vested interest in these guys. I don't know them personally. This is a UK rivalry. I'm from the USA. I know fighters in the UK. I love watching their fights. As you see, I was watching it. I support boxing, but I have no reason to lie about my score. That fight to me was more 116, 110 than it was 120, would have been 107. And I just want to point this out, and then we'll be done. The official judges had it 119. So one judge gave a round to Eubank. Another judge gave 2 rounds to Eubank. So you have everyone who could find rounds to give to Eubank except Carl Frampton. The same Carl Frampton who couldn't find any rounds to give to Joshua Buatsi. So if I had something I would tell the zone is stop letting Carl Frampton be the guy who represents what's happening in the fight, because clearly he's biased as hell. When he likes a guy, you got to knock him down in order to win a round. That's all I got to say. You have anything to add to that, Complex?
No, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Corner to Corner with Caden and Complex. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Should there be a trilogy? Should it happen next? Or should they have a couple more fights? Does Conor Benn beat Mario Barros for the 147 strap, the WBC? Let us know what you think. Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I know we say it every video, but it really does help us. Share the video with your friends. We got way more content coming for you. We got some heat this week. So tune in for the other videos. It's Corner to Corner with Caden.
Complex going to lose some money this week.
Nah, never that. Peace.